And we're back. We got another one, plugin versus hardware. I can't stop. Today, we are going to do the hardware SSL compressor because I was looking at YouTube and I saw everyone doing plugin versus hardware comparisons of the SSL compressor, but they were all either 500 series or 19-inch racks or some other knockoffs, and we all kind of want to know how the plugin compares to the actual hardware in the desk, right? In front of me, I've got a 1983 custom SSL 4000G/E. The bus compressor is a G series compressor. I love it. It's amazing. The desk just got recapped about 2 years ago, so it's as fresh as it can be. There's no issues whatsoever. The only issue I've got is that the light bulb keeps dying on me. So I haven't got a light bulb today, but I think we can manage. I've got 2 drum loops and I've got a final mix that I want to run through the SSL. I'm going to try a light setting and compare that to the plugin, and I will do some overcompression. So let's start with the first drum loop, which is an acoustic drum kit played by my guy Zep, and we recorded it right here. Video will be out soon about how I recorded it, but for now, let's have a listen to this drum loop. As always, I'm going to dial in the hardware first, and then when I feel I've got a nice setting, I will put those settings into the plugin and we're going to A/B that. So let's go to the hardware, and I'm just gonna fiddle with some knobs, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I feel that works for me. That would be the kind of bus compression I would do on a drum bus. So let's put those settings into the plugin. That is right there. Of course, I'm going to match the threshold by looking at the VU meter so I get the same amount of compression, because with gain staging and everything, the same position on the knob doesn't mean the same amount of compression per se. So I'm first going to set those settings, and then I'm going to see if I need to adjust the threshold any further. See if that's about the same. Okay, that feels like it's gain staged the same. Let's see what the meters say about that. I feel those are lined up correctly. So they are at about -9 dBFS. That will be fine for this comparison. So let's see what the hardware does and what the plugin does. Okay, the plugin does get really close. It's the same style of compression, but the hardware just gives it a sense of depth and handles the transients in a different way, and it becomes more punchy and it just pokes through more, and the groove is exaggerated more, and it's just, yeah, I get that you would want to go for the actual hardware compressor in the desk, but if you don't have a actual SSL in front of you, the plugin is really workable at this setting. Let's see how it does when we are overcompressing. I really like that sound. So let's try to put that into the plugin. It's a ratio of 10, and then we've got attack of 10. That one is on 0.1, so that's fastest release. And then we are going to dial in. About 10 dB of compression. Let's see the gain staging of the plugin. That's quite a difference. I mean, the plugin is completely squashed at this point. The hardware still just sounds like a drum kit, and it's moving, and there's punch in there, and even though it's doing up to 10 dB of compression, it still feels usable. The plugin, yeah, that's just game over. For parallel compression, I would not go for the plugin. I would really only go for the actual hardware piece. So I think this round is won by the hardware. Let's go to the second file I've got for you guys. It's also a drum loop, but this time it's a programmed drum loop. I've got this drum loop from a sample pack from my guy Decap from Drums That Knock 6, if I'm correct. I thought this would be the perfect drum loop to show you what the SSL compressor does in this style of drums. It's the cross-side setting again with the slowest attack, fastest release. I love those on drums, especially trap drums. Okay, that's about the same. Let's A/B them. Okay, so it's interesting because there is something different going on in the saturation type to my ears. The hardware has a bit more low mid saturation, which works really well on the kick. And the plugin has a bit more of a high mid saturation, which works better on the loudness of the entire drum kit and on the hats and the snare. So that is really interesting that there is a difference there. That could have been because the plugin is not modeled after this specific SSL bus compressor, because every SSL bus compressor, especially ones that are 40 years old, are gonna sound different. So that could be that there's just a different characteristic between my bus compressor and the bus compressor that was used to model the UAD one. Compression wise, they are pretty similar on this. I would feel I could go with either the plugin or the hardware. I don't feel the hardware is that much of a step up to justify an entire console. Okay, I don't know if I would personally ever go for this setting, but just because we're comparing them, let's go for a setting I would never ever ever use. Alright, let's do the comparison. Okay, so my feelings about this are the same as the previous drum loop that we overcompressed. The hardware still stays intact. It is still a drum loop. The transients stay alive and there is still something organic to it. The plugin is completely squashed. Once you overcompress, you're gonna need the hardware. It's just the way it is. All right, let's try it on a final mix. This just recently came out. It's a song I mixed and I recorded the vocals as well. For an artist called Ella Alex, we recorded and mixed her song Loops Never End. It just released, so go check it out. And for now, let's see what this bus compressor does on that mix and see if I should have used it on the actual mix. Maybe I should have used it. We're gonna find out. Okay, so we get a bit more energy from it. The drums start to knock a bit more. I kind of like this. Let's dial this into the plugin, attack of 10, and the release on auto. That's always how I start SSL bus compressors on Mixbuses. Always the release on auto. And then if auto doesn't work, then we're going to see which one works better. All right, let's compare. Okay, so there is something about this SSL bus compressor, and I felt this way for years, ever since the first time I ran a mix through the original SSL bus compressor, and it just repairs a mix. And that is the thing with good vintage gear, it just repairs your shit. If something is off, if a vocal is not exactly right, it just repairs the vocal and it just gives it more life and it just smoothens it out. And that is exactly what I'm hearing with the hardware over here. It adds a sense of depth, it adds a sense of width. It's just as if we added a new dimension to the entire mix. And I feel that that is what great hardware does. And that is a thing that is really hard to get from plugins. If I quickly need a compressor to do a compression job on the Mixbus, the plugin would do fine. But if I feel my track lacks in that extra dimension, in that style of compression, my vocal needs something extra, I really feel that the SSL bus compressor in this console works wonders for me. So yeah, I would go for the actual hardware piece. I think that concludes this plugin versus hardware. I think we can agree on that light compression is fine to do with the plugin, but as soon as you overcompress, you need the hardware piece, and the hardware piece does something magical. I don't know if you agree. If you do agree or you do not agree, please let me know in the comments. If you think I'm full of shit and the plugin is way better, let me know in the comments. I would love to discuss. And also let me know which piece of hardware you would love to see me compare to the plugin, and I will make sure to get my hands on it if I don't already have it. For now, thanks. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you on the next one. Later.